Yo, yo, yo. Hello, everybody. Hope you are having, as always, a great morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on when you're listening to this. I'm excited today because everyone knows I hate even numbers, which is four. And today we have three people. I'm very excited. We have our normal co host, the man, the myth, the three ball legend. How are you, sir?
What up? What up? Thanks for having me, King Brett.
Always so official, so punctual, right to the point.
Well,
Yes,
we just talked too much Knicks the last couple episodes, so we had to get Glenn out of here.
man, my
Take
head is
take a
exploded.
break.
I'm glad we're not talking Knicks anymore. Anyways, as he said, I am King Brett. Um, I'm very excited today. We have someone with a purple accent wall, if you're listening out there. The man, the Wizards captain, the beautiful smile. We got Stevie. What up, man? Stevie G, how are you?
Yeah, I heard that Glenn's just dodging my accent wall being better than any accent wall he has in his house. So whenever someone listens to this, I guarantee I've just touched my fast break lineup because I've already revved it at least multiple times today.
Let's go.
Got our first accent wall reference and fast break
Yep,
reference
yep,
already.
yep.
I love it.
Starting out hot, man.
Stevie G the third in the house. What up?
Oh,
I am, yeah. So episode 33, three hosts. I'm the third.
We did this
whoa.
on purpose. Meant to
Yep.
be.
Day of threes. Maybe the fast break will go back down to three people so we can actually win again once in a while. I've been floundering and dying on the Twitter machine, putting the lineups out there that are just inevitably
Oh,
just coming up. I've lost by 1 point like at least 6, 7 times. It's always like 1 point with like 6 minutes left in the game of something. And I'm sitting there with like the classic fast break sweats, formerly challenge sweats, right? And
yeah. I
without
love it.
fail, Devin Booker's not hitting a free throw or whatever the heck we need. You know, it's a blowout and Tatum's sitting in the fourth quarter. So my luck on fast break on the last run and a half has just buried me. But we're still getting up every day putting lineups together. We're still going back in.
That's it.
It's a lot of fun. It's some of them are pretty difficult, but it's a lot
Yeah.
of fun.
My
Yeah.
hardest part is sometimes remembering to go back or re-add or set. So I've started setting my lineup the night before. So worst case scenario, the next day I at least have a lineup. But then my problem is people have been injured or out or hurt. So I
Yeah.
have people, if I don't change it, then I'm screwed. So I'm
Yeah.
with you. I got to set a lineup and be good with it.
We talk about the guys that come up short going in the CNC lair, but I think LeBron and AD almost permanent residents every night. These late games are always the 10 o'clock game, 8 o'clock game, questionable every night. So I have LeBron, and I know the time I play him, it's like I'm going to trust LeBron's going to play. He's going to sit for some reason, and there's not a stack category for cups of wine. You know, single serve cups of wine on the bench where LeBron's going to help me out there. So,
That's it.
you know,
Shots fired on the load
yeah.
management.
Yeah. See, I'm really glad Glenn's not here because obviously MJ's better than LeBron. And anyways, keep going. Continue.
King Brett, we've talked about this several times in the fantasy football aspect and fantasy in general, but half the battle's submitting a lineup that plays. You know, somebody that's going to get you points. You can't have those people that sit out and don't get any points. Sometimes it's not those incremental changes. It's just making sure you got 5 starters that get in there.
Dude, yeah.
But I've been watching, if you've been watching the legendaries on the marketplace, as more people are getting into fast break, the legendaries of those good players are going up. And someone was tweeting an SGA sale this morning, or whenever it was, a couple of days ago. And it's like stuff's climbing because you have guys like Trae Young, Tatum, Jokic, Embiid that are just every night, no matter what the categories are, if they're playing, you can plug them in and feel pretty good. You know, and then you have like Cat comes out and drops 62 when no one in their right mind should be playing Cat whatsoever for anything. But you know, sorry, Timberwolves fans out there, we're coming for you in the DOC game there. But you know, I played Cat one time, he was way off, and I swore him off because I don't even like Cat to begin with. So hopefully, Cat's not watching the podcast, but I've sworn him off a fast break, I think.
Whoa, I'm sure he's kind of hurt about that, but I think it's going to be okay. But you nailed it. It's crazy how something as simple as a new addition to Top Shot, fast break, can impact the market so quickly. Because again, there's some people that even rares, some of the rare prices have started to go up because the rare you get 2 plays versus a common of the one. And man, at the end of the day, I think all of us are about positivity and prices going up in the marketplace. So whatever it takes. I just wish I bought more stuff sooner before it started going up because,
Yeah, yesterday's price is not today's price. I mean, so as a Wizards fan, Wizards co-captain, Daniel Gafford. Daniel, right, humble. Thanks SDA for focusing on CNC and giving me the shot there. Co-captain.
You know what? Time out. I never do this, but I'm obligated at this exact moment to leave the camera. Hold on.
Oh gosh.
Uh-oh.
I hope he's not some kind of like embarrassing cardboard cutout he found from a MySpace picture.
No, it's just stupid why I wasn't wearing this hat.
The DOC hat.
That's all I was gonna do. I just changed everything.
I almost rocked the pink DOC hat. I said, I don't know if I can come on here with a purple accent wall and the pink hat.
Cherry blossom in the house.
Yeah, Glenn would have lost his mind. He's already upset he has the worst accent wall in the group now. So
yeah, but no, so like guys like Daniel Gafford. So Gafford's probably not a household name, obviously, right? But he checks a lot of boxes when healthy, and his rares have kind of moved, and he's a pretty stable guy. So there's a guy that, as a Wizards fan, we love to watch play, heart and soul kind of guy of the team. And he's getting a little bit of recognition through fast breaks. I see him in the fast break Discord chats of Gafford and why is Bagley coming on? It's like, guys, we're talking Marvin Bagley and Daniel Gafford right now as viable plays on some of these nights. So they're doing something right with fast break when you get those guys' names floating around.
King Brett and I know him from the Throwdowns set for sure.
Yeah,
that's how we know Daniel from. Yeah, the S3 dunk on the Mavs, that drop step down low on KP, and then the S4 one's nasty as well, catching the lob.
Yeah, that S4 throwdown is one of my favorite moments I have. I mean, I love that. That just absolutely. I mean, throwdowns is a great set because really, I mean, the electric dunk, the game winner, are like the two biggest categories for me. It's stuff I can just watch over and over and over again. Yeah. And like Gafford has a ton of dunks, and that's like with throwdowns in general. Like, look at a guy like Jaden Hardy, right off the Mavericks, has 2 throwdowns in 2 years. So how are they going to keep bringing fresh guys into the throwdown set? Because a lot of the guys are just good dunkers, that are going to keep qualifying. Like Giannis could have a throwdown probably once a week, with the stuff that he does. So I'm really curious to see that set evolve. And for the win this year has been insane the last couple of weeks with candidates, of guys hitting buzzer beaters. Jokic just chucking one up. Lillard hit one. I don't envy the guys picking the moments out for rewards and putting in sets right now because there's a ton to cut through and pick down.
Even video game numbers, which is one of my favorite sets. You have people putting up, last week 70+ points. 60 points back-to-back nights. 2 different players put up 70 and 60. Like, it's crazy that what people are doing on the court.
Well, all 3 of us, as well as a lot of people in CNC, are from a time when Sports Center, it was the best night, or game winners. Somebody hitting a big shot to win it, and everybody, going nuts. And you mentioned sets, covering those. We talked throwdowns, but For the Win is one of your favorite sets.
Correct? It is.
Correct? Tell us about that.
Yeah, no, so I love For the Win just because a lot of times, usually, if you watch the crowd reaction in the moments, I love looking at the crowd reaction in a lot of the moments. So inevitably, it's got the home crowd going absolutely wild, or you've got the road crowd, like someone just crapped on their Wheaties, just sad. Yeah, exactly. Sad, pouty face on the road. I was sad that there was a Kuzma legendary from S4 where he just put a dagger on the Bulls, and you can just see him walking out of their building just pumped. And that's one I would have loved For the Win, and that's probably my first Lego purchase at some point, but beside the point. So For the Win, just that moment, the clock winding, burying the shot. I love they went to blocks and steals a little bit now and changed up, not just jump shots and threes. But that, to me, a classic Sports Center stuff, the highlight, you just watch it over and over. Big believer in watching your moments more.
I'm sorry, I was breaking up. What was that? What did you say right there?
Watch your moments more.
Boom.
Yep, watch them more.
Heck yeah.
Wanted to reiterate. SAT word.
The biggest thing too with like physical cards, a lot of people are looking at them, trading them, going through them. Like, you can do the same thing with your moments. They're all right there for you to continue to watch more and more. And that's one of the goals that I have with the Wizards community and how we do our flash challenges right now, where they're theme based. We're getting into a lot of the old catalog. We're using S1 stuff, S2 stuff, we use the 2021 playoff set. Who knows when the Wizards are going to be in the playoff set again? Maybe 5-10 years from now, hopefully sooner than that, right? But we've tried to encourage, and in general, one of my biggest things too is really watching the moments you have and looking back at them, throughout your collection and just enjoying what it is, because the product's what got me hooked on Top Shot. I mean, I loved watching the moment. I loved watching the animation of it spin around and everything. And I think we don't do that enough. We don't talk about that enough. I mean, for every time you go on Top Shot and check floor prices, go in there and watch your moments the same amount of time and see how much enjoyment you get out of doing that part of experiencing Top Shot.
Yeah. Dude, I love what you just said there, Stevie, because it also, what I realized is through buying packs, through opening stuff, through getting set rewards, challenger rewards, you end up with a lot of moments, some of which aren't your favorite, aren't your team, aren't whatever, and then you never really watch them. But what I found is going through and actually watching my moments, I'm like, oh, I like this moment. Cool. Or, oh, I don't really care for this moment. And then do I want this in my collection or not? It's actually now becoming a way for me to start thinning out and owning in my collection more, of really keeping the moments that I like, that are great moments in my opinion, for my fandom, and then getting rid of or trading, which, like you were talking about physical sports cards, I think people in Top Shot forget the aspect of trading.
Yeah.
3 weeks back, I really wanted a moment and I didn't have the dapper to just buy it. Reach out to a dude, put in an offer, and got an offer of what I had in my dapper. Plus, I traded 2 other moments that I cared nothing about my collection, and now I have a moment that I'm going to keep forever, right? And it's like, don't forget that you can trade, you can reach out. It's just like physical sports.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? Especially as the communities are building, and you've got the one nice thing in Discord. Yeah. So I was never a huge Discord guy. I've warmed up to it the last year. I've gotten
three ball.
You're preaching to the choir.
Yep. I was never a big Discord. I love Twitter, big Twitter fan, X, whatever we're calling it. I'm still going to call it Twitter, but
you're literally calling 3-balling us out. 3-ball never liked Discord, and I dislike Twitter. And he's made me get on Twitter, and I made him get on Discord. It's hilarious.
Yeah, you find the good balance in there, but the great
people
thing
helping people.
Yeah,
exactly. You get into all the fan communities, so every team has their community, right? And now everyone has just about every community since they've opened that up, right? Better or worse, everyone's in all the different things. And you can find other collectors. Odds are in the Wizards community, there's guys with moments on other teams. If you like players on other teams, it's upgrading your Wizards collection. I agree 100%. There's not enough of that banter going on of trading and doing different things like that. I mean, offers, to me, I love them and then I hated them because I feel like it killed a lot of the buying of them. And people just submit offers and wait. I'm guilty of it sometimes too. But the beautiful thing is if you can work it out and it works out in your favor, it's awesome. But there's a ton of different ways, to go out there and exchange moments.
It'd be kind of cool if offers expired, maybe even listings expired, if they were on there for a fixed amount of time and then they dropped off if they didn't go through. That would be kind of cool.
Yep. Yeah, and freshen it up a little bit, especially listings, because I mean, the number of listings that are old and just sitting there and different things, like, totally agree with you. I mean, I don't want to compare it to eBay, but eBay, you have a week or a month or permanently buy it now, whatever. I don't want to change the whole marketplace.
No, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think and then that also forces people that just list things and leave them to come back, reconsider them, relook at them.
Well, yeah, you hit the nail on the head, dude. Prime example. I went and literally reached out to someone that had an offer on their moment, and they replied and they were like, that seems a little low. Let me check. And then they checked. They were like, oh man, yeah, I listed it like 2 years ago and haven't looked at it. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, that's why it's insane. It's selling for like 1/9 of what you have it listed for.
Right.
You're like, well, I guess I need to go back and look at my listings. I was like, yeah, probably. Just throwing it out there.
Because I look a lot at that number of moments listed for sale, and then if there's a ton, it seems, and if they've been listed for 2 years, then it's not really a real listing because it's not going to be bought for that value.
Yep. Yeah. It's just like when stuff comes out of packs and you see the initial wave of what's going to hit the marketplace, what's not going to hit the marketplace. And if you come out and try to hit it big quick and list something quickly and it just sits there and you forget to delist it, it's just going to stay there.
Yeah.
Take the Giannis throwdown reward just came out. You try to hit it, list it for 120, doesn't sell, it hits 50, 60, and it just sits there. Right now, all of a sudden, you got a bunch of listings building the wall up there that really may never hit. Who knows what the future holds, but is just going to build that wall up there.
Let's say you're a reader out there, audience, CNC, and you like reading about this stuff, man.
If only someone wrote a blog that was good.
Steve is writing some killer stuff on collectinandconnectin.com. You've been doing the blog. We've had a couple people do it, but you've been writing some really fire stuff, man. Let's talk a little bit about that, because you mentioned a couple things already in the podcast that have kind of come up from what you've been writing about. Talk to us about that process and what that's been like.
Sure. Yeah. So I'm a big content guy. I love content of all types and forms. And when I first got on Top Shot, Pack Rip was the guy blogging. He did a lot of writing. And I really enjoyed what he did. There was a couple other guys doing it. Yep. But there was a lot of like good written content. And one of the things that I want to do that I like through blogging is really telling stories. You know, I think putting storytelling in with the product is such a great thing, to where, you know, Top Shot really is beyond just the collectible. It's the community, it's the team captains, it's the content around it. You know, it's that whole thing. And one of my goals with the blog was to try to write something. You know, people read less and less. Totally get that. I still like reading. I'm a reader. You know, my attention span's longer than a 20-second TikTok typically, but the way the world's going is not that. So you have to write something engaging. So I try to write something when I reread it, when I'm spell checking, I do spell check and proofread and hopefully catch it. But if I reread that and I don't find myself interested in what I'm writing myself, no one else is going to care about what I'm writing, really. So I try to find stuff that either tells a story that I enjoy reading, that I think is maybe topical at times, or it's something that is, you know, across. I talk about the ecosystem of Top Shot. There's so many different ways you can engage in Top Shot. And I think content's really one of them as well, you know, in addition to Fast Break and challenges, the marketplace, and everything else we're doing, the YouTube channel, podcasts like CNC, stuff you guys are doing, right? All that's part of the experience of Top Shot. So my goal is always to put the blog out that's entertaining, that helps complement what else is going on Top Shot, and put stuff out that people want to read.
Very cool, man. We appreciate you doing it, because the more content, the better around this community and around Top Shot. We're having so much fun consuming all of it. In this blog from a couple weeks ago, titled "Collecting the Chronology of Top Shot, Part 2."
So I'm one of the absolute crazy people, right? I'm all in on the digital evolution. I blogged that before, and that was one of the first. I think that was one of the blogs I wrote that got decent traction, that had some good views, a lot of good dialogue on Twitter. That's always the goal, is to engage. So I'm all the way in. I think, you know, everything is evolving that's physical into digital at some point. And if you look at Sports Illustrated, you know, a week or two ago, whatever, they laid off all their employees, probably the most well-known print sports media magazine of all time. And they're struggling in the physical world. And there's going to be
silence for Sports Illustrated. Just kidding.
Right?
Go ahead.
So if you think about everything transitioning, and you look at, you know, where Top Shot's going and what the product is, you know, to me, this is completely the beginning of the evolution of the collectibles. And if you look back at sports cards, one of the things I blogged about is everyone in crypto, in the space, everything's got to be 10 times faster than what it was in the real world. I mean, physical cards have had 50, 70 years of a hobby, of an industry. And here we are on season 5 of Top Shot, and everyone wants it to feel like it's a 50-year mature product. And
still in beta, everyone.
Yeah, we're still in beta. You know, we might bump up to alpha one day and then drop the letters altogether.
Alpha.
The alpha is, we're evolving from physical to digital collectibles. And the thing is, since we have matured so fast, you've hit a lot of those phases that other industries have done. So one of the parts we talked about was the junk wax era, right? Printing cards to the moon. You know, and we come back and we tie back into that with 260K Bruce Browns is the most well-known Twitter example, right? Everyone loves.
Shout out to Bruce Brown.
Shout out to Bruce.
I had one of those.
I know. There may be some old listings sitting out there on the marketplace. You could try to find or fire an offer up for one.
Dude, poor Bruce was such a punchline on Twitter. He got brought up so many times.
He was. And the thing is, if you look beyond Bruce Brown, back at where we were in that era, for example, right? I think I used Devin Booker in the example that I gave. Booker has like 200,000 S2 moments, which is wild, right? I love Booker, big book guy. You know, LeBron, 200,000 plus. These are just common moments. So we ramped up. We were growing just like the card boom, right? Everyone's thinking it's never going to slow. We're going to keep getting guys in here. So we've hit that era of junk wax. We right-sized, came back down. It's very similar to a lot of the things we've all experienced as collectors with other hobbies, other industries, and stuff like that. And that's why at the very end, the one we did 2 weeks ago, it really ends with where I think we're at now, which is kind of right-sizing the moments. We're never going to go down to 1,000 moments, 1,000 mint count moments as your base set. I just don't see that happening, nor do I think that personally makes sense. But we went through a lot of different things, and the collecting experience for me, I joined early S2, classic 2021 boomer, a lot of people. And I've seen, we've experienced a lot of different ways of collecting. I flipped the DeAndre Hunter Rising Stars for $600 to someone, and I paid $150 for Alonzo 15K that I could have bought 50 of right now for the same amount of money, right? So I've been on both sides of it, collected a lot of it, and really the goal with that blog was just to kind of take a holistic review of at least my journey. I kind of backdated to S1. I know a lot of guys on Twitter, Matt Roth, Kings of Cardio, likes to always talk about S1 pickups and really look at, is there value in bubble moments and the history of S1? And I think there's going to be longer term. But really, the goal of that 2-part blog, I try to keep them short enough people read them. I don't want to put long diatribes because you'll tune out halfway through. But really just taking a look at where has Top Shot in 5 years compared to what people want to, which is a 50-year industry of card collecting and different things like comic books and everything else. And the goal was just to kind of compare my journey to what we've seen.
Dude, I love it though, because you're taking I feel like you're hitting the nail on the head. People have such a microscopic view of Top Shot right now because they're looking at right now, last year, where they want it to be. But then when you compare and you look at the correlation between the physical, aspect, the physical cards, like where it's almost correlating, like calm down, people. Like we're still, we want to make money. We want to get the moments we want and all complete sets, do all the stuff. But this is still early. And if you have the faith, if you have the conviction that this is Top Shot's long term, right? The NFT, what is NFTs are not going to be, gone in 24 months or 3 years. Like this is something that's going to be big and going to be around forever. Like you have to take a moment and pause and say, okay, cool. Like everything, it's going to go up. Things are going to change. I just got to keep riding the wave and, see where we're going to be in 5 years, 10 years.
Yeah, that's why I think Fast Break's a great addition too. Not to keep cheap popping Fast Break, but it's another thing to just stay engaged and involved with the platform. I'll pop anything on Top Shot, I guess, right? But it's just another way to engage with the platform because with physical cards, there's different things you can do, and they're all great too. I collect cards, it's great. But there's so many different things on Top Shot you can do. And in the one blog, I mentioned it, like you want Top Shot to differentiate the product and the experience as a collectible from physical cards. If you do all the same things, if all the experience is the same, why wouldn't I just keep collecting physical cards at some point? But the pack opening experience is different. You have Fast Break, the communities, the challenges, the stuff we talked about earlier. That's such a different experience within that product. And that's why I think we are going to continue to grow and draw people over time here, as it's really a differentiated product at the end of the day. And I'm glad to see we kind of got away, at least in my opinion, got away from a lot of the traditional card concepts of commons are meant to be common. Well, they were, but if you look at the quality of the current season's moments, that Jokic common, and the Curry common, there's a lot of legit commons in there right now that are just top quality moments that could go to a rare tier or higher. And I think that speaks to what they're doing with the basic product itself is, okay, look, commons may be common in one sense, but the quality of them, what they are, is still an elevated premium product compared to a lot of other collectibles out there.
Common grails, as Badge County
calls them. Grails.
Hiding in plain sight right there. Just sick moments, but they're commons and common sets.
Yep, I'm going to tell you, one of my grail moments is the Daniel Gafford Spotlight moment. I own it, okay? I picked that one up. I splurged. I hit one of my grails. So that was one of the first moments. And in fact, I think it's the only moment of the games I've been to that was minted.
What?
So, yep.
You were there?
That's so sick.
Yep. So it's Spotlight Series Gafford. I think it's the block or the dunk. I can't remember off the top of my head. But so I was there at the game. I had both my kids, my family were there. It was awesome, right? So that's a moment to me that I'm always going to cherish and be special to me. It's $1 or $2 on the MP, but I was at the game. We were literally on that end of the court, like right next to the basket, couple rows back, watching that moment live, and to see that minted. I mean, that was awesome. So grails, yeah, all different shapes and sizes you can find grails. Unfortunately for me, that was a common, and it was not a legendary or something wild. But yeah, that's
what a
one of
great
my
moment,
favorites.
memory for you and the family. That's really cool, and it to be minted and you own it in your Top Shot debut. That's awesome.
Yeah, right. Absolutely, and connecting to the moments is something I'm really a big believer into in a lot of different ways.
Love
You
it.
know, whether you're just not at the game, right? Being at the game is great. I know Treaticus, I think, put a video out last year with all of his tickets next to the moments that were minted from the, and that's awesome. Like that to me is something like if Top Shot, we can pick that type of thing up, that's great. But there's different ways you can do it, whether you're watching the game with friends. I mean, watching the game somewhere, something happens. You know, one of my other grails, this is embarrassing to say, people cover your ears, DeAndre Ayton, the value, you know, and then there were 4 rare, right? That to me was one of the peak Top Shot experiences when I was getting into Top Shot. We had you know, Top Shot group chat. We were all texting during the playoffs. You know, the Suns were rising. A buddy of mine hated Ayton, absolutely hated Ayton, right? Couldn't wait to trash the guy. And I said, Ayton's going to shut down Jokic. They're going to make a run. And sure enough, it's this magical Ayton dominance in the playoffs. You know, max contract guy now, but that was like, you know, we were all sharing that moment together immediately. You know, texting going off, messages going off about, you know, oh my God, you know, Ayton putting it in, Ayton's ascending, all those kind of things. But there's different ways to connect to the moments. You know, I'm one of the suckers. I love All-Star game sets. I love the All-Star game sets. My first rare set was the All-Star game, the second one, not the first one with like the aqua and blue. It was the second one.
Yeah.
Right.
And that was special to me because my son, he's 8 now, but at the time he was a little bit younger. But we sat the All-Star weekend, right? We watched All-Star weekend together. We watched that game together. And like he was completely tuned in, and we were watching the Curry no-look 3, the LeBron game winner, you know, all those kind of things. Like to me, I was at my house, nothing special, sitting here watching the game though with my son, and that's something I'll remember. And I picked up that whole set because that to me is a special thing. I connect with them. And there's so many different ways I think people find that you can connect with them. You know, we're going down. We had the DOC event 2 weeks ago, you know, and the goal there, man, can we get a moment minted from an event where we were all at together? How cool would it be? You know, Bagley's first moment came from that event as a Wizard or something, you know, and that's something we'll all connect with. So I'm a big believer in connecting with the moments, whether it's being there for Gafford, watching it with friends, texting. There's so many different ways, I think. And that's, again, more than physical cards where, you know, yeah, you can run the photo down. A guy does that on Instagram. It's pretty neat little content. But I think there's a stronger connection you can make in there with your moments and the highlights and bringing back all the memories and experiences you have with them.
Love it, man. I mean, watching the moments, watching the games, going to games, courtesy of Top Shot, and making memories with you and your family, and as well as you mentioned DOC several times. That's the District of Collectors. Got to join that community for sure. Like you mentioned, doing the showcase challenges and things like that. A lot of fun things you guys are doing up there. Before we leave the blog completely and move on to a couple other regular segments of the podcast, we talked S2 and S3, the junk wax era that we talked a little bit about, and we definitely witnessed some people leaving the platform just to go move on to other things. And you labeled S4 as collectors only, which was kind of obvious. It felt like a tight knit group of us. We were all collecting together and going after different things, but it definitely felt smaller. And then because it's smaller, you could tell that Top Shot was building. I know it's cliche to say building in the bear, but all the updates that have happened from S4 to season or series 23-24, or what we're calling it, the season 23-24. You've mentioned several of them. You mentioned Pack Marketplace in the blog, as well as a couple other things. Talk a little bit about the evolution we're seeing here now currently, and how the excitement you're feeling.
Yeah, so I mean, S4 collectors only. I mean, you nailed a lot of the feelings I had on the head there, you know, and I put the thing with parallels in there, right? That was really an experiment I saw in there. I didn't hate parallels personally. I was okay with them. You know, I thought they brought something different. I got the other perspectives. But then you look at what they did. They took the explosions, which were the sexiest parallels of them all, right? They kept them. They're going to put them just to the highest players. So What really excites me, I think, of where we're at, number one, is I feel like we're kind of more of understanding where we're at as a brand, as a product, as a community. So we're doing things, I think, that makes sense for people. You see that in the mints, you see that in the sets. I talked about, like, I love packs. I love opening packs. In fact, what got me into Top Shot was my buddy kept tweeting, Top Shot release more packs, need more packs, when packs, the classic when packs.
When pack.
Right? So everybody wanted packs, and now we have them. And I felt like they've done a really nice job. We're in end of January, February here. And we've found a way to be successful with weekly pack drops where I feel like we're not bleeding the marketplace out dry. So I feel like we're kind of getting sustainable with how we're operating. And that's going to be good for, I think, the longevity of the platform, because we've got rares coming out. We have a strong focus on rookies. I love how the rookies are kind of getting their shine in different sets. And I think there's different things where we have like leaderboards and even fast break that you can take them on the level they're at and bring them down into the communities, into the teams, as kind of a tool for people to use on top of just what's out there. So really, I think we just kind of recognized where we're at as a product, and we're making smarter decisions for that. I think the community that's left here, and that there's still thousands and thousands and thousands of users. I mean, I go in fast break with a crap night, I'm like 3,000 in line or 2,800 in line. I was like,
right,
how do we have 28 people playing fast break when everyone tells me on Twitter there's 1,500 people left, right? Buying homes. So I think the community that's here is strong. There's a lot of people that just aren't tweeting and discording, but we talked back about collectors only. The people that stuck through the collectors only period, that S4, and now we're bringing more people back in, and we're growing with Wemby Mania and all the Balale Mania. Shout out Balale. But the people that are left here
French Connection
are really passionate about the product, and even a lot of the people that had different things to say, I think, are still coming back around at times, and they're recognizing, yeah, there's a lot of good things happening here. And I think that the good vibes through the bear market was huge. You just don't let that stuff get you down, and you keep collecting what you like. That doesn't mean you don't have accountability of things you don't like. But I feel like where we're at as a brand is really the product. We talked commons, top notch products, probably never been better. I think the decision making is going the right way, and we found a sustainable way to make packs. And as long as we keep for the win, I'm going to be excited about rare sets. Whenever they clip for the win, I'm going to be crying, very upset about that. But I just think the quality is there, and where we recognize we're at, and the innovation's coming.
Love it, man. Everybody out there, when you finish this episode, go check out collectinandconnectin.com to go check out the blog and other things that we have going on. Steve and a couple other avid collectors in our group are putting out some great content. We'd love to have you read there.
Sure.
We're also putting this content out on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Glad to have you join us.
Also, Morse code, carrier pigeons, however you like to get your informed information.
Three ball, do you guys have a CNC MySpace yet?
Man, that'd be great. We'd have to change the song in the background every week. That was my favorite.
Yeah, right.
Jam as soon as you get on your page.
Yeah. Top 8 collectors. You can rotate that.
I thought I was so cool talking to girls on MySpace.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah, I guess I dated myself and showed my age there with a little bit of a MySpace.
Having some Coldplay or some Creed playing on.
Oh,
King Brett had Tom as his number one friend.
Jeez. Hey, don't hate on Tom. Tom and I were good buds.
For sure. He was.
I guess we can get Tom on the podcast here and get him a Top Shot account.
There you go.
You got to get him off his yacht.
Right. We're going to get back to a couple things, but I want to get started on our regular segments, and we can pop through these quickly. I just want to take advantage while we got you here, Steve.
Sure.
Sticky Icky Wiki. It's our segment that when we're preparing for this and looking up on Wikipedia, we are looking at the Wizards, looking at stuff about your team and your to have you on, and things that we find that kind of stick to us.
Okay.
Guys, again, we mentioned all the time, if you're listening to this and you're not watching on YouTube, King Brett has the best reactions and is doing so much physical comedy that you're missing out. You got to check that out.
I'm not going to mention the jersey that King Brett was wearing when I entered the video chat here today.
I was naked. I mean, I was topless. All right, folks, let's just get it out there. I don't want rumors to start. I was topless. Okay, it is what it is.
Mature
people don't wear underwear through life. They just go around free, commando everywhere. I'm topless.
Sorry, we got off on a tangent. We got off topic.
Okay, yeah. Sticky icky
that
wiki.
will happen.
Let's get sticky with this wiki icky.
Yep.
Sticky icky wiki this week. Abe Saperstein was the Harlem Globetrotters owner. 1961, decided actually a couple years previous in quiet behind closed doors, was trying to start a new basketball league to compete against the NBA. Created the American Basketball League, ABL.
Tropic Thunder, right?
Right. While he was doing that, the NBA said, we got to compete with this somehow, and created their first expansion team in 1961 was the Chicago Packers, which just there a year. They changed the name to the Zephyrs and then moved them down to D.C. area to become the Washington Bullets, then Wizards.
Yep,
but,
Bullets.
Yes, sir. Pretty crazy to know that was the first expansion team, and basically just because of competition, them trying to start a new league. Abe Saperstein at that, the Globetrotters, trying to say the NBA is not doing a good job. Let's see if we can battle them. And they squashed that pretty quick, just adding you guys.
They may kick me out of the Discord for this, but it feels like we still play like an expansion team some nights this year.
We
may not have progressed too much.
I have a feeling there's other people that agree with you in your Discord, so you're okay.
You guys are having a tough season. What would you say is the biggest piece you guys need to add right now to the Wizards? What's the biggest need?
Biggest need, I mean, I love Kuz, I love Gafford, but it feels like we don't have a real elite scorer. I mean, Kuz is a strong scorer, right? But you don't have a like an SGA. Not every team has one, right? But the top teams, you have a top elite scorer somewhere that's going to take over every night. You can depend on. Some teams have 2, 3 of these guys, right? And we're out there. You know, I love Kuz, love Poole. I'm in the Poole club. But when you go from there, you're relying on a lot of guys that are probably more role players to pick up a lot of slack on the scoring side and really just take over games. But outside of Kuz, I think you need another guy, you know, that can really put some points on the board consistently every night.
Yeah, that's kind of what everybody's looking for. As you mentioned, need that one number one scorer, that go-to guy. And then once you get that, you can build pieces around, and you do have some really good young pieces as well. So there's some building blocks there. Just need to make some moves either through the draft, or, you know.
Yeah, I love Bilal. I think he's a future star. I mean, I think we're all excited on Bilal in DC. I mean, he's probably the guy that we're pinning our hope to get more minutes. It's going to develop and really become one of those kind of players. And you know, Poole's good, but I think Poole's got a lot of opportunity. He's definitely an opportunity guy there with Kuz. So I'd love to see them really upgrade somewhere on the prime scorer front at some point.
Yes, sir.
I like the fresh take. I like the raw honesty too. I might get kicked out of Discord. You're
yeah. They're gonna kick me out of there for saying we play an expansion team some night. But I think we all share the frustrations at times when we have leads. It feels like every night we're watching the Wizards. We're in the game in the fourth quarter, and something happens. And it's like inevitably, it's like a 6-point loss or a 3-point loss. And it's
Hello, welcome to being a Mavs fan.
Yeah, right. It's how do you close that game out? I mean, you guys have Luka and Kyrie, right? That 1-2 punch
can't close out a game,
right? And that 1-2 punch is against our 1-2 punches, and that's where I think we need to elevate to keep trying to climb that kind of star power ladder to compete with the better teams.
Our fourth quarters for the Mavs have been much better since the addition of Kyrie. But to your point earlier of when we just had Luka and some role players maybe 2 years ago,
exactly,
it was a lot tougher. They would double Luka, and he would be forced to give it up. And then who are you counting on?
Right.
Poole and Kuzma are both probably really good 2 or 3 guys that if the all-star or stud got doubled, that they could be, you know, that scorer. So to your point, you just need that bigger piece to come out.
I love how earlier, by the way, I made a reference and I said, what did I just say? I said Hawaiian Thunder or whatever.
Oh, a Tropic Thunder reference.
I said Tropic Thunder, but the whole time in my head, I was thinking about the movie Semi-Pro with Will Ferrell, and they're the
tropics. I do that a lot. That's probably pretty normal for people as for cross fading.
I digress. Yeah, it's okay.
Move into segment number 2. Glenn loves this segment, and he's not here. Normally he intros. Name that player. We like to
name that player.
Yes, sir. We like to test your fandom a little bit and pull out some players from your team that you follow and see if you can name that player just from their picture.
So it's really easy. All you have to do is name the 2 players from your team that were on that photo right there in the gray.
Just by silhouette only.
Just silhouette, just name that player.
Michael Jordan, Wizards.
You nailed it.
Very nice.
That was it.
His Top Shot debut has to be in a Wizards uniform. I'm convinced the MJ TSD will be in a Wizards uniform. Should be. They owe us for not giving us a Jordan Goodwin TSD, so they can make it up to us with MJ.
Tell me how you really feel.
Name that player, candidate number 1. Let's see what you got here, Steve.
All right. Chris Webber.
Oh.
Or is that Jameson? Hold on, wait. No, Antoine Jameson. That's Jameson. Antoine.
He said it so fast, too. Antoine Jameson.
You almost tricked me. I was like, that's not Chris Webber.
Antoine Jameson. Antoine Jameson. Nailed it.
I feel like that picture, you could break him in half. He looked
just
like
edit the initial Chris Webber reaction out of that when you put this thing out to YouTube.
Yeah, back it up 10 seconds.
No problem.
Yep.
Nope, leaving it in.
That'll be like the one more thing outtake. We'll have a Chris Webber outtake.
There you go.
Yeah, wait,
man, that was so funny.
One more thing.
One more thing.
All right, one more player. Name that player. Here's number 2.
God, that's not. Is that Gortat?
There's half credit for the last name.
Martin.
Marcin, yes.
Oh, dude, nailed it.
Had an archive. You just had the archive come out.
Let's go. He did.
Oh, what an awful tattoo that is.
2 for 2. I mean, I love you with the tattoo. I would have gone hair. I would have gone like 2 or 3 other things, but yeah, tattoo.
I feel like Birdman Anderson had the worst mohawk in the league.
Oh, dude,
for a long time.
I hated it, but at the same time, I low-key kind of loved it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, why is he doing it? You're trying to be the new Dennis Rodman, or
yeah,
what?
right.
Come on, dude.
They were definitely noticeable checking in. I know that guy. Name that player, candidate number 3. Fire away.
Man, these are getting harder and harder with Gortat.
Uh-oh.
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Hold on. It's not Rodney. Not Rodney Hood. Shoot. No, I don't know. I was going to say Rodney Hood. I don't think it's Rodney Hood. Rodney Hood. I'm giving.
Initials AB.
Yeah. Little hint.
No. I don't know who it is.
Andre Blatch.
Andre.
Yeah.
2 out of 3 is pretty good.
That's solid, especially not knowing, getting thrown off by the tattooed weirdo. Like, that's pretty good there.
You'd be
1.5. If I count
you'd be getting paid in the league if that was your 3-point shooting percentage.
Right,
66.
a lot of guys on the field
would love that.
A couple weeks ago would have taken that.
Yeah, I know, right?
Very cool. Good job, man.
Breaking out Andre Black. I thought this was a friendly program here.
By the way, Glenn wanted to go all the way back to the expansion team first players, and we were like, "Whoa, you gotta calm down. We don't even know who the Bullets players were." All right.
It's a shame that Glenn's not here because my favorite player as a kid, my first real favorite player was Larry Johnson, who was a Knicks player for a long time. Love Larry Johnson. Had the Converses and everything.
Very cool. Wow, throwback right there. Talk original fandom before Wizards. Who did you watch? Who was your inspiration watching ball?
Yep. So I loved Larry Johnson, Iverson as a kid, big Iverson guy, handles guy. I really loved the chip on the shoulder Iverson attitude that he had. I was never a huge MJ guy. I love MJ, respect him, but I was never a huge MJ guy. Kobe for me was Kobe to me, when you guys in the chat talk about MJ versus LeBron, I don't want to come in with my Kobe banter, but for me, Kobe's the greatest of all time. I love Kobe. Watched him so much. I mean, I think he's such a competitor. Him and MJ had the same thing with that absolute want to be the best. Every night, every game, whether it's a Wednesday against the Timberwolves or Game 7, he was coming with everything. I loved watching Kobe. Followed the Lakers a lot. And then really probably about 15 years ago, I really fell in love with the Wizards more. Just kind of really growing into wanting to be able to stick and grow into my local team. Really got into Gilbert Arenas, John Wall, type era is really what got me dying into the Wizards, and I've just kind of grown with that, going to the games, following Beal. Loved Beal, coming through. But before that, really like Larry Johnson, Gary Payton, Iverson, Kobe. Those are probably my favorite guys. Ed O'Bannon, and where the hell's the Ed O'Bannon at?
UCLA, shout out.
Yeah. When you guys do the Nets people and you throw some Nets, who is that player? Throw Ed O'Bannon up there for me. But I liked Ed O'Bannon. I was a UCLA guy, loved UCLA. I didn't go to UCLA, but followed O'Bannon a little bit. He completely washed out of the league. He's going to be a $3 quad badge one day, or a $3 archive moment. But loved Ed O'Bannon for the probably cup of coffee he had.
There was a while there for like a decade where they were just putting out point guards like left and right. Westbrook, Collison, like they had just studs coming out of there.
Yep. Hopefully they get back. I mean, I love Lonzo. I hope he plays again. I mean, Lonzo, I talked about my first Top Shot purchases. Lonzo was one of them. I loved watching Lonzo, what he brings. But UCLA, I don't watch a ton of college. I do usually about this time every year. I'll tune in, see how UCLA is doing, and follow a little bit and kind of pick up. But Ed O'Bannon, there's your good random shout out for the Who Are They Now next segment.
King Brett, speaking of Sports Center, why don't you ask him the final segment question?
Man, well, I mean, I feel like we've talked about, you've already said a few different things, but one of the things I love to hear about is the reason we're even a part of Top Shot is the love of basketball. Even if you got into it collecting NFTs in just that space, you have to have some feeling about basketball. And I like to bring back and ask, what's one memory that you have, whether it's from you as a kid, you and your kid, your family?
Yeah.
Like, what's a basketball memory that you're never going to forget and will live with you forever? Like,
so in the history of my life, there will not be probably a more wild basketball memory than what I'm going to give you. So big Vince Carter guy. I just went through the guys as a kid. Vince Carter, left him off the list, dunked on the back of my door like everyone else did, trying to go under my legs and not put a hole in my door for my parents yelling at me. Right? But so Vince Carter, last ride.
Stop banging on the wall, Steve.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So Vince Carter, last ride tour, came into DC. So I went with my nephew. He got his tickets. I took my son down, and we were like right off the floor. Awesome. I mean, Wizards game in the middle of March, right? Who the hell's going?
Yeah.
So we got pretty good seats right by the tunnel, and it was just before COVID was really a thing. And my son was like 5 or 6 at the time going to the game. He liked basketball, but really loved a lot of sports. We went down there and we gave him a mask and different things. And people were like, what the heck is this kid doing with a mask or whatever? We're trying to just protect our kid. There's unknown crap going on, right? So literally Vince Carter right in front of us just absolutely yokes a nasty crossover. The Wizards guy slides across and falls down. It looks at him and pops the 3, like literally right there in front of us.
Oh my gosh.
So Sports Center actually picked that up as their highlight on Instagram. And if you look at it, it has the initial picture, the initial video is Vince hitting the crossover, knocking it down. And then the second slide is they talk about zooming in. It goes right in on my son who are sitting there, and his face is just like lit up, couldn't believe what he just saw. So Top Shot, if you're watching this podcast, I need that as a moment one day, the Vince Carter crossover in DC. But I mean, it was him and I. It was his first basketball game. I was there with my nephew. Vince Carter's last game in DC, last time I see him, right before COVID shut the world down, made Sports Center. And that game is where my son, his favorite sports, basketball, loves it. And that's really where all that started. So I'll never forget that as long as I live. I have that bookmarked and saved in my Instagram stuff. I watch it once in a while, and that's just awesome memory for me.
Dude, what an insane memory. And I saw that clip, and I actually, like, 3-ball, he was doing research. We watched that. We saw, like, your son's in the, he like gets up, it's like he's right there and you're right there, and it's all and Vince Carter, he just does a crossover, then looks at it like, man, watch this. Whoop.
Yeah, and he's obviously
great memory.
He's 2 generations away or generation away from Vince Carter in his prime and what he's doing, right? So he just wanted to go to a Wizards game, and we're going to watch Vince. So he sees Vince Carter do that. Here's the guy that my dad brought me to see doing something like that. So he's home looking up Vince Carter, watching all the dunks. right? He loves Vince Carter now. Like he
Yeah.
crossed that generational gap through basketball and highlights. But yeah, that was awesome. That's something I'll never forget.
What a great memory.
The look back by Vince at the defender after the
Oh,
crossover
yeah.
is definitely just so disrespectful. I love that.
Love that.
Hits the shot, and then to King Brett's point, seeing your son's reaction, his first game, you prepped him about, hey, we're going to go see that. You know, he's one of my childhood guys. You know, that's such a great moment for all of you involved. That's so cool, man. Great story.
Yeah, definitely a peak of basketball for me right there. Absolutely was sharing that moment.
The epitome of NBA Top Shot. Top Shot.
Yeah, absolutely was.
Yeah.
I cheap popped that moment to get on the list one day for some sort of Vince Carter collection or archives we need.
Yeah.
Man, we could keep talking. There's a lot to cover. We're having a great time with the blogger himself, Steve G. Appreciate you being here today, man. This is a lot of fun hanging out.
A lot of fun. I appreciate what you guys are doing for the community out there. I love the pod, love the blogs and stuff, and everything you guys are doing. I was happy to be here. Great to be a part of it. A lot of fun. Feel free, ping me sometime. Have me back.
Dude, we love it. Everything you do as a captain, that purple accent wall, all the photos, the baseballs in the back. We didn't even touch on. We're going to have to come back episode 2 on that. Dude,
yeah, cheap plug Texas. Nolan Ryan, one of your guys back there.
Oh, let's go.
Nolan.
That's right. Yeah, you can't. What a way to end it. We're talking about the Wizards, and we finished talking about Nolan Ryan and the Texas, the world champion Texas Rangers. Throwing that out there.
Yeah, 3-ball did remind me of that on the way in, that they knocked my Orioles out of playoffs on their run to glory. So I think we touched all the bases, the proverbial baseball metaphor to wind us out. We touched all the bases today.
We did.
So obviously, with as King Brett mentioned, the purple accent wall and the Ravens stuff, you mentioned the Orioles. So where do those rank as for fandoms? You got baseball, football, and basketball. I'm going to put you on the spot.
Man, I'll tell you. I got to go. We're probably, it's because we're in season.
I'm going to get you kicked out of Discord.
I'm going to get thrown out of Discord again. I mean, if I make it as co-captain after this podcast, I'll be amazed. So no, I'd say probably go Ravens 1, Wizards 2, and Orioles 3, just because basketball for me, I've grown to love so much through Top Shot, and just really it has heightened that fandom watching the Wizards every night, and when we get to baseball season, I may flip the Ravens and them somewhere, but Ravens right now for sure, number 1, going peak. That's why I got a purple wall, not an orange wall back here.
Yeah,
it's future Super Bowl champ.
I was going to say it's hard for us to talk about it because we're recording a little bit ahead of time, but 4 teams are left. Are you guys going to win the whole thing or what?
Absolutely, never a doubt. This is it. This is the year. We're bringing Kelsey and Taylor and everybody, all the crowd and the hoopla into Baltimore to send them home with nothing but a crab cake.
That's right. Hey, to be fair, I'd love a crab cake. So
so do I. I hope that last part of this video ages well.
Crab cakes and football. That's what Maryland does.
Maryland does. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Man, let's wrap it up on that. This has been fantastic. King Brett, Stevie G, the third. Appreciate you guys. All of CNC out there watching. Appreciate y'all. Catch us on the next one.
See you later. Thanks again, guys.
Appreciate you guys.
Peace.